This segment of our podcast is the racism in Ra.One, which had to be addressed.
Yeah. It's
Bhavya,
kind of
you
staying
wanna
away from the AI, but like we need to address this because it's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. It's important. It's an important
Yeah.
topic. I think you should start.
Okay. Yeah, where should I start? Like, dude. Okay. I I paused the movie after he mixed curd with noodles, and then like I had existential crisis. Okay, like if that's where I should start, yes. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the movie. I seriously don't want to talk about. And then I don't know, dude. See, it's not about the movie, okay? So there are so I don't know. Maybe the director wanted to be really funny and then want to
Sorry, just
put
to
it
add
out.
here, the director is wait, I forgot his name, but he also made Anubhav Sinha. Yeah, the director is Anubhav Sinha, and he made Article 15 and Thappad. Nice movies, so you should watch them out. Watch them.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. No, the thing is, if we wanted to be sarcastic and then be like, oh yeah, I just wanted to make a joke because yes, people wanted to see. Dude, the thing is, you can't just make a okay, beep that out, but yeah, uh, thing into a joke. Okay, so what is this with condom, and conjum? Like, I don't know. It might be funny for my 10-year-old brother, but not for people who have brains. And then
Okay.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Like,
Amazing.
and second thing about Asians.
Oh
Okay,
man.
I'm not gonna name. So there is this one girl from our university. So I don't know. Like, okay, so maybe I'm not saying the Bollywood is like
Don't try to be
motivating
so
people.
politically correct. Just say
No,
what you want to
no,
say.
yeah, exactly. I don't know how to put it that way, but yeah, the thing is, Bollywood, like a lot of viewers are there, and then consciously or subconsciously, people are gonna believe what's said in movies, right? So there's this one girl. I'm not gonna name her, and then okay. So there's this one Tibetan guy who used to be in our university last year. So he was my friend because we used to play basketball together. And then one day she saw him, and then he was walking essay, and then she was like, Chini, wait, not Chinese guy. Oh, Chini, acha, theek hai. Okay, first
Oh
thing,
boy.
he's a Tibetan. Second thing, you shouldn't call him a Chinese guy. And then third thing, she was so dumb and loud that he turned back, and then we had to make sure that nothing happened. And then we're like, no, she didn't say anything about Chinese or anything. So the thing is, see, if you are making jokes like this, make sure that you add a tagline or maybe a statement below your scene saying that okay, this is just for the purpose of we making jokes out of people, and then it's not true. Like, make sure that you say it's not true, because at the end of the day, consciously or subconsciously, people are gonna believe that, and it will take time to actually come out of the entire scenario and learn. Okay, so if my 10-year-old brother thinks everyone from Asia is from China, I can explain it to him because I am learning. And then people who are literate might do it as well, but not everyone can say it to their people, right? So it's like, in a way, you're actually promoting racism and then you're getting away with it.
I think it's
Because,
not just in a way, like by
yeah,
putting something which may be normal for a certain person and saying that it's a joke, you are not just, portraying it as, oh, I just, there are many ways to make a joke. Okay. There are many ways to, without, without, making a stereotypical argument on something is a way. I
Yeah.
think that is what you were trying to say here, that they made something which was very stereotypically thought of as, let's in this case, let's say, northeastern and other people just being Chinese, so I think that is something which is very stereotypical that people do, and a lot of movies and a lot of cinema does that. That is not okay. I think this is what you wanted to point out. And again, that comes for all communities. Just stereotyping them to one trait or the other is not okay. There are many ways to do comedy. Comedy is not just, making fun of some culture or making fun of something. It can be, and there are types of that crude comedy there, but it's taken in a very different manner. It's served in a very different manner. This is not the way to serve it. And being said all of that, one thing that I just want to point out, putting curd into stuff that it does not belong is something my father does. I hate him for it. He puts curd in very weird things. He put he okay, so he has this thing. He mixes dal with sabzi, with roti, and with chawal and eats it sometimes. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that
Okay.
concoction
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So just want to point that out. Sorry.
We're
Papa,
not-
you're
we're not-
watching this, I know.
Oh, we're not gonna bring Dr. Maurya into this because he's a sweet soul. He's commenting on every single.
Hey, he's a very good father. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying sometimes I just cannot understand his choice of
No,
food.
the thing is, okay, so we are talking about racism and we are talking about what is happening, and then we are talking about AI. So, can we just come to the scene where the robot from Ra.One learns how to slap on Kareena Kapoor's butt? Like, do you remember that
Ooh.
scene?
Yes, I
Like,
do remember
Through
that.
television.
you made a AI robot, which I don't know, like why you even
You
putting
that
these.
was some kind of a meta joke. Like, you are promoting something, like people may learn from your
Have you
movie, and
forgotten
you're
about?
showing that.
Have you forgotten about the suggestive dance he does right after that? The
Oh my
entire, or
God.
before that, I don't remember, but like in the entire
No,
house, and
okay,
then he
okay.
teaches his other fellow
You know
South
what?
Indian to dance that way.
You know what?
Okay.
The dance that he does, like, not considering teaching it to someone else wala part, but the dance that he does can be considered humorous till some level. Okay, I feel like that is something that should be allowed. It's fine. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so if I
Uh,
may, no, so like I know a lot of people might about the joke part of it. I myself am a huge fan of Ricky Gervais and like a lot of these comedians who still like to joke about things which may today be considered PC and not
Mm-hmm.
like you have to be PC and you shouldn't joke about politically incorrect things. See, I'm a huge fan of all of that, and I understand like the concept of joking about things which are not politically correct because but the thing is, I think the most important aspect that you need to keep in mind is you need to like understand your audience and realize whether they're getting the joke. If you're someone, first of all, of course, according to joke rules, there is something called punching up and punching down, and usually it's in comedy. It's not like joke rules. It's like in comedy, you usually comedy works when you punch. Like good comedy works when you punch up, right? And punching up means when you're making fun of someone who's in a more like in more privilege than you are, right? That is why when black people make jokes about white people, it's really funny. But let's say if white people started making jokes tomorrow about slavery, it wouldn't be really funny because they're punching down towards a community which is below them. Now, let's leave all of that aside and let's say you're someone who doesn't even bother about all of that. I just wanted to bring that out there, and you want to make politically incorrect jokes. That's also completely fine. But you need to ensure that the people who you are joking with and who you are, you know, making these jokes to are people who are able to understand that you are not being serious about what you're saying and that you're making these jokes because you're being dark or edgy or you're kind of making a very controversial joke knowingly. Because when you show it to people who don't understand it, that's when it becomes problematic. And that's something I don't think people really understand in this world that much, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is I have an anecdote about what happened after Ra.One came out, right? When after Ra.One came out and people saw the scene of a Tamilian guy, first of all, not the same state as where I come from, but still, let's say we're all South Indians, a Tamilian guy eating noodles with curd. I was made fun of and bullied a lot after that movie came out by people in my school, because they just believe that I also ate noodles that way. First of all, we don't eat noodles because that's not really something that we eat back in the South, because every state has its own variations of meals and noodles is definitely one of them. And secondly, even if we do eat noodles, we don't put curd in it. Like, I don't get that. We don't eat it with our hands and we don't put curd in it while eating it. So it was extremely racist. And you can see, like, the school I come from, which again I can't take its name obviously, but is one of the best schools from in the area that I live. And it comes from a very high, like, the people who come there are extremely educated, come from great families and all of that. So imagine if they were willing to, like, make fun of me or bully me because of a scene they saw in a film. Imagine the kind of impact it is having on the minds of people who are not that educated, do not come from such great families where they could have had previous discussions about this at home, or like their parents would have told them. They're obviously going to look down upon that community or make fun of that community, mock them. And it's happened with me, which is why I'm talking about it, right? So that's why you have to be very careful. Like, when you are, like, for example, even Avi and I tend to crack certain, like, jokes especially about women with our female friends. But we do that because we know that they're not going to take us seriously. When we go and meet a newcomer, a new person, Avi and I don't crack those kind of jokes with them because we don't know that person. We're not personally close to them, and they might take it as an offense, right? So that's why we don't crack those kind of jokes with people we don't know and who are not our friends, who we're comfortable or close enough to crack those kind of jokes with. But when it comes to something like, let's say, again, when we're talking about Ra.One and we're talking about the South Indian aspect and race in it, they did that major mistake of just putting out a joke there without caring about whether their audience is able to understand that this is not actually how the people over there live, and this is not actually how they behave, and these are not their characteristics. So that is a major point which they overlooked, and definitely a huge negative that I find in the movie.
Okay, so before everything, I just want to put this point out there. Don't ever take Shah Rukh Khan when you're portraying South Indian characters. Like, in which angle he looks like a South Indian? Come on.
I don't even want to start.
That's why they put the wig on him.
Yeah. Do you realize that's another super racist thing? Like, when he was South Indian, he had curly hair, and the minute he came in his G1 form, he had spiked up hair. What are you trying to portray? Like, that all South Indians just have, like, curly hair? I have wavy hair. I don't even have curly hair. What?
You don't have hair now.
I don't even have hair. So
refer to our first video to know how Koshi looks.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes no sense, and I don't want to bring up Chennai Express.
Let's not.
That is not our topic.
Whenever I roam through roses, and lately I often do. Funny, it's not a rose.